Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon, the agent. As always, I like to come to you each and every Friday with the latest real estate trends and topics, and I always have a Q&A and I always talk about a subject that's on my mind. Okay, today in the wonderful world of real estate, and before I begin, please follow me on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, um, and I believe that's all of them. All right. Follow me on all my social media platforms. They're strolling right here at the bottom for those of you who are watching me live on this. And I'm also dealing with a new platform, so please bear with me. Last week I had some a little bit of issues with YouTube because I was streaming something, and I guess copyright issues, made the streaming stop. So please bear with me as I'm getting familiar with this platform. But I'm always here to answer any and all your questions when it pertains to the wonderful world of real estate. Now, again, today I'm going to talk about negotiations. Many people get into real estate and they feel like, oh, I'm a real estate professional. So now I'm going to start selling a whole bunch of houses. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And there are many reasons why people get into real estate. But when you are a realtor, real estate agent, broker associate, and you are representing a client, there are times that negotiation plays a huge role as far as getting the end results that your client desires. There are a lot of good negotiators out here when it pertains to real estate professional, and there are a lot of bad people with negotiation skills. And I want to explain that there's an art to negotiating anything, whether you're on the buyer's end or you're actually on the seller side. There's an art to negotiation, but without good and clear communication, sometimes the negotiation cannot go well. And I just want to explain that sometimes as real estate professional, the real estate professional must always take themselves out of the equation. It's not about you, the professional. It is always about your client. And I say that to say is there was a situation recently in which there were two agents, okay? The buyer's agent made an offer for their buyer. The seller's agent, of course, is the listing agent. Now, in this situation, they did an appraisal. The appraisal came back. First of all, the property was listed at a price point. They offered $25,000 over the list price. Okay. The appraisal came back less than the offer, but it was still $17,000 over the initial list price. The listing agent was very adamant in saying that, oh, the seller has a backup offer. The seller is going to do this. But to be truthful, it was never about the seller. It was about him actually being greedy. Because if you already had over 17,000 from the list price and the appraisal comes back short, $7,000 short, most buyers are going to be wanting to take the appraised value because many buyers are not going to come out of pocket. But this agent particularly was very adamant. And also, this agent also was very bad when it pertains to negotiating for their client. And only in the sense that throughout the whole transaction, they were more focused on them than they were focused on their client. When you've been a real estate professional for many years, you know who's, what's what. You know the lingo, you know what to do, what not to do. And also, you know the angle that some people coming at. Don't get me wrong, money is many people's motivator out here. Some people do whatever it is, whatever career it is, solely for the money. But then there's other people who actually do whatever it is they do because of the people that are involved in it. And a lot of times, those who do it because of the people are those who are much more profitable, and it's much more rewarding to them because when it pertains to the whole terms of the contract, you know what I'm saying? You always want to see your client's happiness. That's what matters most when you're dealing with negotiations and everything. So going back to negotiating, when you're negotiating on behalf of your client, you always have to factor in what's in the best interest for your client. That is your number one fiduciary duty in real estate, the best interest of your client. No matter how long you've been doing it, no matter how short you've been doing it, The best interest of your clients is always the number one goal. You always have to have a conversation with your client when it pertains to things in the transaction. You're not supposed to make decisions on your own without speaking to your clients unless your client has already advised you about certain things. But when the terms of the contract change, you need to hold a conversation. This is what helps people become good negotiators, because a lot of times, sometimes people may feel like their client are not willing to do certain things, but then sometimes people change their minds all the time. You cannot go by what someone always say. You still have to always hold that conversation, because people change their mind like the weather changes. It could be sunny today, raining tomorrow. Same thing in the wonderful world of real estate. Negotiation has an art, and with the art and everything, it has it to the point where you have to be precise. You have to have clear communication. You have to actually know what you're doing. You have to always do what's in the best interest of your client. Now, for those who don't do it, you're setting your clients up to fail. And sometimes transactions fall apart because of poor negotiation. So I say that to say that there's an art to negotiating, and negotiation is indeed involved in the wonderful world of real estate. It's not just people putting a for sale sign in the yard. It's not just people showing houses. It's not just people making offers. It's not just people holding a sold sign. There's negotiation that takes place when you have a buyer and a seller who do not agree on certain terms. Negotiation has to come into place, and you have to know exactly how to negotiate, or you can lose the deal. You can lose the house. You can lose the client. So with the art of negotiating, like I said, there are many factors. The number one factor is clear and precise communication with your client. That's number one factor. The number two factor is actually knowing the market. That's number two factor. You have to know the market. It's not just about for sale signs. It's not just about holding a sold sign. It is much more than that. But the reason why people all think it's all about holding a sold sign or for sale sign is because what they see. That is one of the reasons why you see so many people get into real estate and you see so many people drop out, because people are not selling. And when you're not selling, that means you're not making no money. When you're not making no money, you can't pay your bills. You can't pay your bills. Ain't no need of you staying here. You got to change something. But one of the things is, though, if you're in this game of real estate, when you're working with a seller or buyer, you have to understand the art of negotiation. There are many deals that fall apart. There are many deals that can actually be saved too. Many deals can be saved. Many deals fall apart because sometimes some real estate professionals' egos are in the transaction more so than what's in the best interest of their client. So I want people to just understand that when it pertains to negotiation, it is part of the wonderful world of real estate. Because even if you're a buyer and you have to make an offer on something, you may make an offer lower than the list price, and then they might come back and counter. That's negotiation. There may be some issues that arouse with the home inspection that the seller don't want to fix. That's negotiation. You have to see what you can and cannot get away with and what you can and not do when it pertains to certain terms. There's a lot of things. Appraisal issues come up. That's negotiation. Even when it pertains to adjusting settlement dates, that's a negotiation. You have to know the terms and the lingo of what you're doing. That's why in real estate, the most profitable people are the people who learn the most. You can't get your license and think that, oh, you're going to automatically start selling a lot of houses. That's like a cab driver who gets a cab license and a driver's license, but they still don't know how to drive, because we've all seen cab drivers that don't know how to drive, especially in DC. I'm from DC. A lot of times I wonder how they even get their driver's license, let alone a taxi license. So I just say that to say that holding a license alone does not mean you're not going to deal with certain things. So understand negotiation is a key art that you must learn in the wonderful world of real estate in order to be good, in order to be a great professional. I'll be right back. Can I change it? All right, I'm back, y'all. Like I said, please have patience with me because this is a new platform that I'm using. So I have some Q&As. That's my question and answer. So if you have any questions or answer, please feel free to post them. But I'm going to ask my questions real quick. Um, the first question that I have is, does the stock market affect the housing market? The first question is, does the stock market affect the housing market? Excuse me. And the answer to that is yes, it indirectly affects the housing market. And the reason why I say indirectly is because if a lot of people see that the market has plummeted, consumer behavior changes. People start looking at their investments, their money. They start thinking, "Oh, what else is going on?" They look at the mortgage, the interest rate. So it does affect and it does have an impact when it pertains to the real estate market. So yes, indirectly, it does not affect it directly. Meaning, if the market plunges today, does it affect the prices? No, but it indirectly affects it because of consumer behavior. People, they watch interest rate, they watch the stock market. People are looking at their portfolio, and sometimes that has an effect on whether people want to buy or hold out on buying. So yes, it does indirectly affect the housing market. The other question that I have is deed. When it pertains to the deed on the house, if someone has passed away, can the house still be sold? When it pertains to a deed on a house, if someone has passed away, can it still be sold? The answer to that is yes, the house still can be sold. Many people pass away. When it pertains to the person who actually passed away, there are certain things that need to be in place, or you have to go through a thing called probate. If it's not, like, say, for example, if your parents passed away, they didn't leave it to any kids, they didn't have a power of attorney, they didn't have an executor of the estate, they didn't have a trust and will, you have to go through probate. And then the local court or county would then appoint, let's say, the children or child that's been appointed by the children, as the executive of the property, the personal representative of the property. So yes, and in some other cases, you have people who pass away who actually who leave a will and trust. So then they appoint someone as the personal representative or executive of the estate. So yes, the house can be sold if the deed is in someone's name. And like in some cases, like I have a situation now where I'm about to list a house and the husband had passed away. And the husband is the one that's on title. She's the wife. Okay, depending on if the property was bought with the tenant, you know what I'm saying, tenants of occupancy, tenants in common, and then also because he's the wife, she has the death certificate, you know, and proof that they were married, she can sell the property also. So that happens many times. But yes, many people unexpectedly pass away, have homes that they've left behind. Now, one of the things that I like to say that also when people pass away, sometimes people tend to forget that there's a mortgage on the property. So when people pass away, and I just say this because this reminded me of something, that check to see was the mortgage up to date, and if it wasn't, because sometimes mortgage company have begun the process of foreclosure and people are trying to, you know, figure out the house and, you know, if they can sell it. And what you don't understand is if a mortgage is still on it, you don't have to worry about selling it because the mortgage company is going to snatch it. And then next thing you know, when they take over the house and you see it for sale a year later, understand it's because no one checked about the mortgage. So a lot of times I would suggest right now that while people are alive, people start putting things in place such as wills, trust, power of attorney, especially if you know you have older parents, especially if you feel yourself you're getting older and you want to leave your house to your children or your grandchildren. I sold a house recently in DC, and the house was left by the grandmother to her grandchildren, and and they ended up selling it and everything. She had the will. She did had to go do a probate on it, even though she had the will. And once she did that, one of the grandkids were actually cousins. So one of the cousins made her the personal representative, and they were able to sell the house. But you do have to put things in place, because understand this: we live in a world, especially society in the United States, where is geared, everything is geared to get your money. So, and that means they would take your house, they would take your cars, they would take your clothes, they would take anything of valuable, if you yourself, because just because you bought it don't mean that you necessarily own it. You can buy clothes, don't own it. You can buy a car, don't own it. You can buy a house and don't own it unless it's paid right out. And and even when it's paid right out, you still have to pay the taxes on it every year. Because if you don't pay the taxes on it every year, guess what ends up happening? It's a tax sale. Your house will go up for a tax sale after a certain amount of delinquency on the home. So that's another topic that I would talk about in the upcoming weeks. I'm going to talk about tax sales because someone asked me about that. But yes, you can do that. So let me see if I have any more questions. Okay, so yeah, so let me go on to my topic of the day. I'll be right back. All right. My next topic as I finish this show is, are you appreciated, tolerated, celebrated? I think many of us in the world today, we don't feel valued or appreciated like some of us should be. Many people are overlooked. People feel like entitled. Some people feel like, the person that they're surrounding or with or dealing with, that they just have things automatic because they show up. Let me explain something. In this world, there are no guarantees. There are nothing that's automatic. Your job is not automatic. The place you live in, it's not automatic. The love you get from your parents or your children, it's not automatic. The problem is, in a world today where we should be loving each other, appreciating each other, value each other, we really take advantage of each other. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about family. I'm talking about close friends. I'm talking about co-workers. I'm talking about everyone that's in your immediate circle don't value you like you should be in many cases. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all cases. I'm saying in many cases. You will have strangers who will see your value before your own family or friends will. You will have people who don't know you who can see the impact of who you are and what you do, but the people around you don't even see it. And sometimes, depending on where you are in your life, you may not even be tripping off that. You might not even care about being appreciated. You're not even, probably don't even realize that you're just tolerated. But it's not until you've been around someone else that's actually celebrated you for the little things. And you're like, dang, this person celebrating me for this. I don't even get nothing from my boss. You know what I'm saying? You can work for a company and be at your work, do extra and above what they ask you to, do more than the other people, show up early, leave late, while your other co-workers are showing up late, leaving early, and then you can go somewhere else, do a little bit. People are like, wow, that's very impactful. That's why people change jobs, y'all, because they're not getting paid what they're worth. And that's why sometimes people leave relationship, because it's better to be somewhere where you are celebrated and appreciated rather than somewhere where you're just tolerated. In this world that we live in, we all want to be happy. We all want to enjoy life. But you can never enjoy life or be happy if you're around or with someone or working or doing something where people don't value or appreciate you. Sometimes we have to do a self-reflection of ourselves to see where we are in our life and where we want to go. If you're happy with where you are and you want to continue to keep getting what you get, stay there. If you're not, hold a conversation with the people around you, boss included, spouses, children, parents. After you hold a conversation, see what kind of impact or response you get from them. If it's not what you want or what you expect, reevaluate yourself and move on. Because in this world, life is too short. People pass away at any age. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. People pass away at any age. Life is too short to not enjoy it while you're here. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather live another 30, 40 years just being tolerated, not appreciated, regular, born, or would you like to live 5 to 10 years and have the best years of your life? The choice is always yours. The decision is always yours. But guess what? Because no one knows the time, moment when we will pass away, it's always best to reflect on where you are right now. See, the thing is, though, is sometimes people don't think about the future. They think about right now. See, right now, look at yourself right now. Where would you want to be at in 5 or 10 years? Because let's say you live 5 or 10 years. Do you want to be at in 5 or 10 years where you are right now? And if the answer is yes, then continue to keep doing what you're doing. You're in a good spot. But if the answer is no, if you're not valued or appreciated by the people around you, hold a conversation with them. And if you don't get the response you want, or if they don't change, then make some other decisions for your life. Because understand this, people change when they see that someone else is doing something for you. Like, for example, relationship. I've seen so many great women in relationship with nothing men. Okay. I see so many women who go above and beyond, who take care of home, who take care of the men, who take care of the children. A lot of men don't even value those women, don't appreciate them, don't ever give them flowers, don't ever buy them gifts, don't ever take them anywhere, never compliment them, don't do nothing with them. They are man of the house, but they're not in the house. They might be in there playing video games. They might be watching movies. They don't have no conversation. They don't do nothing with the kids or their girlfriend or wife. But those women, because they don't want to start over, because they have their family, they tolerate it. But that man will leave quick. And then I've seen it vice versa. I've seen some men who take care of the woman, who, show appreciation. And those women don't do nothing for the men. They don't cook, they don't clean, they don't even present themselves looking all good for them. They don't do anything. They don't value them. They don't appreciate them. They don't compliment them. And I've seen the same thing on jobs. I've seen people who are extremely great workers, especially in the government. Okay. Because I used to work in the government a very, very long time ago. I used to see some good. I used to show up to work and it was some people there before me. And I'm looking at the watch like, what time you get here? Oh, I got here at 6:30 in the morning. They got to work at 6:30 in the morning. That means they had to leave early. Same people be leaving late, going to lunch late. Then I see some people who come to work late, take breaks, come back from breaks late, go to lunch early, come back from lunch late, take another break, leave work early, and expected and was looking for a full check. Okay. But here's the thing, that person who was working and stuff, they weren't getting bonuses. They weren't getting extra money, but they was doing double the work and stuff. While you had some people who would say everything right in the interview only to get on the job and try to milk the clock. And I say that to say that some people are milking the clock, whether you're on the job, whether you dealing with your children, especially your grown children who tends to know how to take advantage of their parents because they know their parents' vulnerable spots with them. So you have people who are going to take advantage of you in this world if you're a nice person. See, when you're nice, people take niceness for weakness. But then when you mean, people think you being an a-hole or, you're evil. Listen, you have to do whatever you have to do to make you happy. Money is not going to always make you happy. Money is the root of all evil, the love of money. Yes, we all need money, but the very love of money is the root of all evil because some people value money over people. That's why some people are still in relationships they shouldn't be in. That's why some people are on jobs that they really hate and everything because they have not made a decision. Once you make a decision in your life will automatically gravitate towards the life that you want and the life that you expect. Because if you don't set an expectation for yourself, guess what? No one else is going to set an expectation for you. So in this life, you can either be celebrated, appreciated, or you can just be tolerated. And that's my word. Hold on for 1 second. I'm going to come back with a recap. I hope that you all are more celebrated. I mean, more than just tolerated. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. Let me go over my recap real quick. So, I talked about negotiations, y'all. In the wonderful world of real estate, there's key to negotiation. Negotiation saves many deals. Part of the reason why you see so many people have so much longevity in real estate is because they are good negotiators. They have negotiated some terms and stuff and some deals, and they have saved deals. Part of the reason, because in this world of real estate, you're going to experience a lot of things. It ain't all what people think it is, because people always say, I want to try real estate. But the truth is, real estate's going to try you. How are you going to handle it? And if you don't know and learn the art of negotiation, you ain't going to handle it well. You're going to get another occupation. I answered my Q&A. And then my last topic was, I was talking about being tolerated or celebrated. See, truth be told is we all want to be appreciated, but in many cases we're not. And sometimes we have to look at ourselves where we are and whom we're dealing with. Even in your own family, you're not going to be appreciated. You can be the one to do everything for the household and people won't value. They'll start to take advantage of it. They'll feel entitled. They'll feel like you're supposed to do it. All because they're around you, they feel entitled. Sometimes when you're doing so much, like even the strong become weak sometimes. And sometimes you want to feel value. See, a man will go through the ends of the earth and take a bullet for his family if they value and appreciate him. But if he don't feel loved by that family, guess what he'll do? He'll go create another family. It's unfortunate and everything, but what you'll have to understand is everybody's human. And on the flip side, a woman, you know what I'm saying, who feels elevated, appreciated, loved, valued, you know what I'm saying, she would do so much more for that man. She would love him to the ends of the earth, because in many cases, she already loves him to death. You know, that's why some of them will hurt you when you hurt them. You know, when I'm talking about they will hurt you, I'm talking about like using weapons and all types of stuff, because they hurt because of the love that they feel. But in this world that we live in, y'all, we all want to be appreciated and celebrated, because here's the thing: what you won't do, somebody else will do. So when you don't appreciate that woman, some other man would appreciate it. When you don't appreciate that man, some other woman would. When you don't appreciate that employee that you got working with, some other job will. That's why many jobs will say, Dad, we lost Stephanie. She was a good worker. And then you get somebody to replace her, and this person is terrible, nowhere near Stephanie. But y'all didn't value Stephanie when she was there. Y'all didn't pay her like you should. You didn't treat her right. So she went and found another job. And the same thing when it pertains to people. Same with your family, your parents. You don't value your parents until they're gone. While they're here, you don't give them anything for Father's Day. You don't give them anything for Mother's Day. You don't celebrate their birthdays. But then when they die and pass away, many people are on Facebook wishing that they can hold a conversation with them. Don't let this life go by without you celebrating the people that you so-called love. Because if you love them, show them. Actions speak louder than words. And thank you all for joining me. Please, again, follow me on all social media platforms. I may or may not be here next week. I'm have a scheduled settlement that I could not adjust the time, and I don't know. So to be on the safe side, I'll be back in 2 weeks. I won't be back next week unless the settlement doesn't go. But knock on wood, we're going to pray that it goes, because every house I touch turns to soul. Please check out my website, damontheagent.com. It's actually being updated and upgraded right now. So when you'll see it in about another week or two, I'm hoping you'll really love it. All right. In the meantime, please follow me on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Snapchat, y'all. Thank you all for joining me. I shall see you all in 2 weeks. I won't be here unless the settlement doesn't go, but I'm hoping that it goes. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.